Hello everybody, welcome to an episode of Moe'S Tool Talk, and today I'm finally getting to the lyrics of my favorite album and favorite band of all time, Tool's Lateralus. Now, I'm not going to go through all the lyrics. I've chosen 7 songs from the album to go through, and I've only written down portions of the songs to highlight. And it's my attempt to try to, for those who are not as familiar with Tool and this album in particular, to go into depth to the meaning and why this is my favorite album of all time, why I love this album so much. And the music, the whole the instrumentation, the whole musicality of it, the whole arrangement of the entire album, the way it's put together, the production value is top notch. But is Maynard's lyrics. I still remember the first time I heard this album and how it moved me and how it just gave me chills. Not just the crazy awesome sounds that came from it, but those lyrics are some of the deepest and most meaningful lyrics I have ever heard. They're my favorite lyrics of all time. Now I'm just going to get into it before, I don't want this too long, but it's going to be a longer video. I'm pretty sure it will be. Now, yes, I have 7 songs altogether, and we're going to start with the first song of The Grudge. And it starts like this: wear the grudge like a crown of negativity. You calculate what we will or will not tolerate. Desperate to control all and everything, unable to forgive your scarlet letterman. Now, I'm not exactly sure what he means by scarlet letterman, but when I think of the word scarlet, I think of the word red, as in blood red. And letterman, it's probably is probably that person who delivers that message of scorn and of vengeance and the grudge, basically, that you clutch it like a cornerstone, otherwise it all comes down. Justified denials end, grip 'em to the lonesome end. And to skip a few lines there, it goes that Saturn ascends, like the god of Saturn, being the war kind of, comes round again. Saturn ascends, the 1, the 10, ignorant to the damage done. Now I wrote them down here if you can see that. That's kind of what I wrote down. And it's that line here that I put in bold, ignorant to the damage done. And that's what the grudge does to people. When you're seeking vengeance for some wrong that other people may have done to you, you're just doing that cycle of violence and you're not helping the situation. And this song basically is about forgiveness, of why it's important to forgive. And it continues with, give away the stone. Let the oceans take and transmutate this cold and fated anchor. Give away the stone. Let the waters kiss and transmutate these leaden grudges into gold. It's about you don't forgive for the sake of forgetting or condoning what the other person did. It's never about that. It's forgiving to free yourself from that hate, to taking that hate out of you and replacing it with a better way of thinking. And then he goes, at the end of the song, he gives out this scream of letting go of the aggression. He just keeps on going with that awesome yell of letting all that negativity out, just releasing that negativity so it's not in you anymore. And then he repeats, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, let go, about 30 times. And the last time he says it, he's just, let go. Yeah, get it away. Take it out of you, because that grudge is so toxic and it's poison. It's poison to have that grudge, that vengeance. I know vengeful people. I know very like it's sickening and saddening when I look at these vengeful people, and I know they're being vengeful. I know they're being petty and small. I mean, I work with a couple, and it's just like, it boggles my mind. I have nothing against them. Nothing against them. Except that their vengefulness. They're the most vengeful people I've met in such a long time. They do little things here and there to try to screw you up and to try to put you down and be so judgmental. And it is wrong, and it's sad. I really dislike that kind of attitude. And I don't have vengeance. I just want peace. I just want peace. I want us to get along. I want us to be at one with each other. Which brings me to the next song with these awesome lyrics. It's for the patient. And for me, this song represents, like, when I first read that title of The Patient and started listening to the lyrics, I always thought he was talking mostly about a patient in the hospital, like being a patient. And it is, but it's more about being patient. It's more about learning to what's the word I'm looking for? To be at peace with just waiting for something better or for something more to happen for yourself, and not. I'll just get into the lyrics, and I'm not going through all the lyrics. It's just very selective parts of the lyrics. So, if there were no rewards to reap, no loving embrace to see me through this tedious path I've chosen here, I certainly would have walked away by now. I'm going to wait it out. If there were no desire to heal, the damaged and broken met along this tedious path I've chosen here, I certainly would have walked away by now. And I still may. I still may. He does that breath in between there, as like, I'm being patient. I could walk away, but I'm not going to. I will be patient and wait it out, because I know something better is going to come along the line. I just got to be patient. And then he goes, and then at the end, it's like being patient. He says it 3 times. Being patient. And then he says this line 4 times. It's the only line kind of that he repeats 4 times in this way. I must keep reminding myself of this. I must keep reminding myself of this. 4 times he says that. And basically it's, again, to go back to, if there were no rewards to reap, no loving embrace to see me through this tedious path I've chosen here, I certainly would have walked away by now. And that really does encapsulate what it means to be patient, to learning to be comfortable in your vulnerability, and if you can't do anything about the situation you're in, then just kind of let it go and wait for it to pass. That's what I get out of those lyrics. Now, I want to go the next one, schisms. Schism, not plural, but singular. Schism. Now, I'm skipping a whole bunch of lines here, and I'm going to kind of the first little bridge, where he says, the poetry that comes from the squaring off between and the circling is worth it, finding beauty in the dissonance. And I think that's so important. I want you to really think about that line in particular. Finding beauty in the dissonance. Like, things that are sometimes not perfect can make something sound perfect. Now, I want to give an example of the song "Twist and Shout." I heard a great channel today. I'm not going to give any shout outs today on this channel, on this episode, but talking about the Beatles' Twist and Shout, when John Lennon sang that song, okay, his voice was just kind of raw. It was at the end of the end of the sessions. He had been screaming and singing a lot, and his throat was sore. And when he sang the song, it cracked and it wasn't perfect. But that is what made the song perfect. I think that is a great, beautiful example of that finding beauty in the dissonance. That sometimes it's those little flaws that makes it awesome. Now, there was a time that the pieces fit, like this is the third verse, I skipped over the two first ones, but I watched them fall away, mildewed and smoldering, strangled by our coveting. I've done the math enough to know the dangers of a second guessing, doomed to crumble unless we grow, strengthening our communication. And at the end of each verse, like the first time he says that, he is testing our communication, then crippling our communication, rediscover our communication, and then at the end, strengthen our communication. And it's so important. But it's this last line here that I think is the most important. Is that cold silence has a tendency to atrophy any sense of communication. And it's so true. It's so true. Is when we don't speak our minds, we're too timid to say what we really mean, and we don't communicate what is necessary. That's where, cold silence has a tendency to atrophy any sense of compassion. Compassion? Did I write communication? But I think I should have been compassion. Yeah, I think I may have messed up on the line here when I wrote it down. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's, cold silence has a tendency to atrophy any sense of compassion. Not communication, compassion. Yeah, I wrote the wrong word down. It is compassion. Sorry about that. I read that wrong. Between supposed lovers and between supposed brothers. To connect. It's about connecting and breaking down barriers of misunderstandings, breaking down barriers of misgivings, and reconnecting, and not just person to person, but nation to nation, civilization to civilization. That we all need to be able to communicate more and talking out our problems and not just letting it fester and boil over. That's why Schism is a really important song for me. Now, want to get to my favorite song on the album and my favorite song of all time in many respects, and that's Parabola. Now, I'm not going to go through the first part of it because it kind of repeats the same kind of lines later on in the song. But I want to start off by saying that, okay, it starts off with, we barely remember who or what came before this precious moment. We are choosing to be here, right now. Hold on. Stay inside. This holy reality. This holy experience, choosing to be here in this body holding me. Be my reminder that I am not alone. This body holding me, feeling eternal. All this pain is an illusion. And then he screams, alive. He screams it with the top of his, with so much passion and so much intensity that it's just like, again, I had shivers when I first heard him do that. And then later on, he goes, twirling round with this familiar parable, spinning, weaving around each new experience. Recognize this as a holy gift, and celebrate this chance to be alive and breathing. A chance to be alive and breathing. Like, how much more beauty can you find in lyrics like that? To me, that makes me happy and celebrate being a human being, to be more than the sum of your parts, to be more than what society has driven you to be more than to be better, to be a better person, and a great example of another great example of what this song represents is just read a book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now, and where he talks about being at peace. It's peace of mind, because the way I see it, when you're thinking about the past in any way, shape, or form, or the future in any way, shape, or form, you're not here. You're trapped in psychological time. You're not in the present moment of where you need to focus your attention mostly. Is always in the present moment of the here and now. Here and now. Here and now. Now, I forget the name of this book, but there was a book where there was this island, this isolated island out in the middle of nowhere, and they had these talking birds, like parrots or something, and they taught these talking birds, and if you know what book I'm talking about, please leave it in the comments below, because I would like to know. I want to remember what the name of that book is. But they kept on teaching their birds these two words. It's like here and now. Here and now, here and now, here and now, to remind people to live in the present moment, to not get stuck in the past or the future. I mean, especially in your thoughts. You don't want to always think about the past and the future, because you're just going to stuck in a psychological time, a loop of psychological time, instead of really living and being at peace. That's what I get from this when I first heard this. The first time I heard this, I was reading Eckhart Tolle, and it was like, or Tolle, Tolle, Eckhart, and yeah, that's what it reminded me of when I first heard those lyrics, and it's just so deep and meaningful. Then you get to the next song, which is completely one of the songs that when you listen to it musically, it's the middle of the album. It's right in the center of the album, and it's the heaviest song on the album. Yet in the middle of that song, it has the most peaceful, quietest part, and it echoes back to the Grudge. It really connects, there's an anchor of these lyrics, and I'm talking about Ticks and Leeches, of course. That really echoes back into the Grudge, and about why the Grudge is so important. And it starts off saying, "Suck and suck." He just yells at it, "Suck and suck." And then sucking up all you can suck and suck. Talking about people who are leeches and like to suck you. And this is a warning of not to be this way. Don't be a leech or a tick and sucking out other people's energies. "Working up under my patient like a little tick. Fat little parasite. Suck all me dry. My blood is bruised and borrowed. You thieving bastards," sorry about the swear word, but "you thieving bastards, you have turned my blood cold and bitter. Beat my compassion black and blue. Hope this is what you wanted. Hope this is what you had in mind, 'cause this is what you're getting. I hope you're choking. I hope you choke on this." And yeah, if you're going to be one of those hateful type of people who are vengeful and just wants to tear other people down and be judgmental and a petty person, yeah, I hope you choke on it. I do hope you choke on the energy that I'm giving off, because I try to stay positive. I try to be the best person that I can. I don't always succeed. I'm not perfect, and I will never ever claim to be perfect, but I am trying every single day to be the best me that I can. And so yeah, to all those ticks and leeches, and I've dealt with people like this so much in my life. Like I have, yeah. I'm not going to go into it more than that, but yeah, there's so many ticks and leeches out there, and you got to be weary of them. Don't condemn them. Forgive them, of course, for they know not what they do. They don't know how they really are affecting other people. But yeah, don't hold on to the grudge either. Just let that go. So I'm going to also go into Lateralus. Now I did a video about a week or so ago where I talked about Tool lyrics already. I'll leave that link right up in here. Okay, the lyrics I'm going to talk about in Lateralus is lyrics I did not talk about in that other video. So these are just a little bit of a little extra lyrics that I did not go through the first time for Lateralus. So at one part by the end of the song, he goes, I embrace my desire. I embrace my desire to feel the rhythm, to feel connected, enough to step aside and weep like a widow, to feel inspired, to fathom the power, to witness the beauty, to bathe in the fountain, to swing on the spiral, to swing on the spiral, to swing on the spiral of our divinity and still be a human. And that is, again, very powerful and very deep lyrics that I just think is just, this whole album, it makes me want to be a better person. It makes me even more of not wanting to lie, cheat, and steal like the lyrics for Intolerance, which I've gone through. And to spiral out, keep going, spiral out. Instead of taking the world and spiraling in on yourself and being self-centered and being mean, no, spiral out. Embrace the world that's out there. Open yourself up to new possibilities and a new way of thinking. That's what again, that's what I get from these lyrics. All of these lyrics from all the songs is to be more than the sum of your parts, just to be a better person. Now the last song I'm going to go through, I kind of went over disposition because it is not much to the lyrics. It's just mention this to me, mention anything, mention something, and watch the weather change. That's pretty much some of those lyrics in that song. Again, I think that's still about going disposition. It's about being, again, I think it goes back to the patient, to being patient with yourself, to being at peace with whatever, like whether it's bad weather, good weather, sunny, raining, stormy, that you just, you need conversation. Mention this to me. Mention what to you? Anything, something, it doesn't matter. Just talk to me. Because, I am watching the weather change. I think it's deep. But we're going to go into reflections. And so the main part is, and I'm not going through most of the first parts. I urge you to really go and listen to these songs and listen to the lyrics like in their fullness. But it's the last part where he goes, so crucify the ego before it's far too late, to leave behind this place so negative and blind and cynical. And you will come to find that we are all one mind, capable of all that's imagined and all conceivable. Just let the light touch you and let the words spill through. Just let them pass right through, bringing out our hope and reason before we pine away. Before we pine away. And he repeats that 4 times, Don't, it's about not pining away and just and embracing life as it is and living your life to the fullest and and keeping an open mind. It's always about keeping an open mind to other possibilities, and not just because here, okay, some people love to use the word belief, and they have their beliefs in that. But my definition of the word belief or believe is that when you believe in something, it's always to the exclusion of other possibilities. You, as soon as I believe in that and only that, you just shut your mind off to other possibilities. It's like, nope, that can't be the right way, because my way, the way I'm thinking, what I believe in, that's the right way. And I think that's limiting. I think that's so wrong of an attitude to have towards life, that thinking that you know that you're 100% positive that what I know, what I believe, that is the right way, and everybody else is wrong. No, it's so everybody has their own truth. Everybody has their own, and the more we communicate with other people and listen to what other people have to say and the way they feel and the way they think, you just might learn something. You just might learn something that you never thought possible. You may open your eyes to a new reality, to a new truth. You just have to keep an open mind. That is what these lyrics really represent and mean to me. And yeah, they're so, again, I repeating myself, they're so deep, meaningful, and that is what makes this album so important to me and so vital and so life affirming. It's life affirming. It just, again, makes me want to be a better person, more so than anything else on this planet. And whenever I listen to this album, once I'm done listening to it, I feel lighter. I feel more joyful. All the tension leaves my shoulders, and my brain feels much more clearer. It's a cleansing. For me, it is a cleansing. Any time that I'm really feeling down and not myself, I need to listen to this album to set me straight, to set me on a better path. And I want to tell you a little story before I let you go. This is one little last thing. When I was up in Montreal, I used to have either a little MP3 player or even a Walkman, and I would go up to Mount Royal and find a secluded place where there was nobody around me at all, like somewhere in the woods, somewhere in the early afternoon of a beautiful day, and I would go out, try to be completely alone, because not that I would be embarrassed, but I just didn't want to subjugate that to anybody else. But I would put the earphones on and play these songs, especially this album, and sing it along to it at the top of my lungs, as getting out all that aggression, getting out all that negativity, getting out all that hate and low dense, that low heavy frequency of just release it. And this album did that more. When I was done going through those albums, or when the batteries would die, I would walk out of that secluded area, surrounded by trees mostly, usually. I would feel so light and floaty. I would be and yeah, it was just, it's like I slept for 2 days. I'm just so relaxed, no tension, my mind would be cleared, and it always put me in the greatest mood, and yeah, that's what I would do sometimes, and so anybody who is just hearing this for the first time, and if you don't know this album, if you don't know how meaningful it is, I really urge you to give this album another spin. I will tell you, it is a long album. It's like an hour and 20 minutes long. But those songs, if you just let it get into you, and I know there's parts of it is heavy and kind of and if you're not into heavy metal or into heavy music like that, it might attract you. But I say go in just for those lyrics. Just look at those lyrics and try to tell me that it's not a positive, most meaningful, most important album ever existed. At least that's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. And so yeah, I'm just going to let you go here because I could ramble on. I've gone through all the lyrics already, so I'm going to let you go right now and urge you again, please give this album a chance. Really go in with a fresh, open mind and really look at those lyrics. Like, take those lyrics and give them some serious consideration, because it should uplift you. It should make your life meaningful, and it should make you want to be a better human being. All that. So before I continue, I'm just going to let you go right now, and as always, please be safe. Take care. I will see you on the flip side, and please, everybody, have a great day, evening, night, wherever you may be. Peace, everybody.